Hi, guys. Thanks for joining me for another chapter of this amazing health journey that I'm on. I wanted to share what has happened recently and what the Lord showed me through this experience or series of experiences, rather. So, a couple of weeks ago, in just a routine checkup with the dentist, they found a couple different cavities, and they actually found that I had had a filling like 5 years ago that didn't hold, and so the cavity decay had gotten underneath the fillings themselves. And I have a lot of dental anxiety because of that filling experience that did not go well previously, 5 years ago. And it wasn't a pleasant thing to think about going back to the dentist. But I also felt at that point in time that I trusted the dental team and that I was in good hands. Also, if you've never heard of it before, there's an awesome unit that a lot of dentists are using. It's called an alpha stim, and they're little clips that go at the very base of your earlobes on both sides. And within maybe 3 minutes, this unit makes these little zapping, very gentle zapping sensations in your ears that cause your brain to drop into an alpha state, which makes you feel very drowsy and comfortable and relaxed. So that's one of the reasons why I chose my dentist, is because she had an alpha stim unit. I also chose her because she had a laser unit that worked really well instead of the traditional drill for taking care of teeth. So I said yes to coming back for an appointment and making sure that I got my teeth taken care of. And I have to say that the bill was extravagant. And so one of the reasons I had been hesitant to say yes when they told me about the cavities was the finances. And I actually ended up having my mom come alongside me. I did not ask for this, but the Lord provides in very unique ways sometimes. And so my mom reached out to me and said, I know that you're really nervous about this dental experience, and I really want you to make sure that you're completely healthy. So I'm going to take care of this financially. So that blew my mind. So the finances were covered, and that meant that I really didn't have an excuse. So I had to say yes. So fast forward, I have an awesome dental hygienist. She is so kind and so comforting and just a bright spirit. And so I was really enjoying my time with her, and I was getting my teeth cleaned, and I knew that after that I was going to get my teeth filled. And I was starting to get a little nervous, so I had the alpha stim on board, and I kept kind of cranking up, cranking up, cranking up. And I felt very relaxed. And she was telling me that because of where the cavities were, it wasn't going to be a big deal at all. Numbing would be easy, and I would be done and on my way. So that's the story I told myself, was this is going to be cake. Don't get anxious about it. No biggie. So I went into another room, and they increased my alpha stim and got me settled in with a nice warm blanket. And they said, okay, we're going to go ahead and put some topical numbing on your gums, and then we're going to go ahead and numb you up, and it'll be really fast. And then you'll be out of here soon. So I was like, all right, this is good. Let's do this. And the numbing topical stuff was in my mouth for a couple minutes, and then they started doing the numbing injections. I felt all five of them, and in the back of my mind, I was like, I probably shouldn't have felt all of these, and I should probably let them know that I felt them. So I did. And they said, well, I'm so sorry. That sucks. We're just going to go ahead and move into filling your teeth now, but we'll put on your chart that the topical numbing wasn't very effective. Um, I felt everything. I was still not numb after 15 injections, and I felt every one of those injections. And they kept going back and trying to treat my tooth, and I could feel it. And they would pull out and say, okay, let's try another numbing agent. When all was said and done, I had had 5 different numbing medications that they had tried. I think, if I think of all their names, they all end in Kane. And at that point in time, I was severely anxious, as you can imagine, because I'm thinking, what is happening? Why can't I get numb? This is not an experience I've ever had before. I've always been able to get numb. Granted, I've only had 2 fillings before in my life. So the dentist was perplexed, and she was concerned that I couldn't get numb. And I had the alpha stim in, and I had an audiobook in my ears just on a low level because I didn't want to hear all the sounds around me. And I could hear the dentist and the hygienist talking about what was going on, and they were both concerned, but they weren't communicating with me directly. Retrospect, that was a little concerning too. But anyway, they decided that they were going to administer a low dose of something called an aura block. If you're not familiar with the term aura block, it means that you are getting a low dose of epinephrine with the lidocaine. And it's supposed to be like the best way to numb everything up that you can possibly have. So after the 15 injections, they gave me 5 injections of the aura block. I was finally numb, and I had like happy tears running down my face. I was so relieved. So they took care of my teeth, and I was out, and I was ready to go, and I was texting my husband, okay, you can come get me. And I went out to the lobby to pay, and all of a sudden, like a bolt of lightning, I had the most intense sensation of panic and anxiety. And I thought that I was going to die. My body started shaking like crazy. My heart was racing. My breath was super rapid. And I was saying super, super fast, like hyper. What did they give me? What did they give me? Over and over and over to the front desk gals. Bless their hearts. They were like, what is going on with this girl? So then I remember being on the floor, kind of curled up with my knees tucked up against my chest and my head down, just telling myself that this was going to pass, and I didn't know what was going on, and I was terrified. And my dentist rushed in, and she was starting to sit down with me and comfort me. And then my husband rushed in. He was actually in the parking lot, which was perfect timing. So he came in, and he is a massage therapist. So he's amazing. He's cool and calm under pressure and great in crisis. And he certainly was in that moment. So he just started telling me to breathe and to remember that this was temporary. And he looked at the dentist and said, what did you give her? Well, the dentist then revealed that she had given epinephrine to me. And I've had a lot of things done medically, a whole bunch of things that I've walked through, and I don't think I've been administered epinephrine before. So, yay, another thing we get to put in my chart as do not give to Catherine. The dentist said that it's like a 1 in 1,000 patient experience to have any kind of reaction to epi, and that my reaction was so severe and so significant. And she said, you told us that you're having surgery soon, so you're going to need to turn around and let your surgeon know what happened. Great. Okay, we'll do that. So I got in the car, and I was exhausted. and I was traumatized and I was still shaking inside and I couldn't stop crying. That's one of the worst side effects, right, of the epinephrine, coming down from it, coming down from that state of super intense adrenaline to a state of calm and homeostasis. Like, I had a lot of tears that I needed to shed, but also I needed to shed the tears because of what had happened and because it was so different from my expectation of what was going to happen. So, got home, I was resting, and I was just talking with the Lord. I was like, what in the world just happened? And he invited me to talk with my pastor, which was interesting. So I called my pastor, told him what had happened, and he's like, okay, can you just get still with the Lord and ask for his perspective on this? Which, like I said, is something that I already wanted to do, but hearing it from the pastor, I was like, yeah, I need to do this. So I did. I got still. I asked the Lord for his perspective. I said, where were you in all this? I felt so abandoned, so alone, so confused, terrified, etc., etc. Very rapidly, he brought me the word protection. Okay, Lord, help me understand protection. Then he showed me that he had allowed these series of events to unfold to get me to the point where I would need to talk with my surgeon because I was going to be having an in-office procedure requiring epinephrine. Well, if you're in office with a doctor, they're not going to have the same types of equipment readily accessible if something happens with a patient. And so then he showed me that I needed to be in the hospital for the procedure. I needed to be under full anesthesia, under the care of a full medical team. Because then if something does happen, and the epinephrine will still be required for this surgery that is happening in exactly a week, then there will be people who can take care of me in that moment. And so the risk won't be there like it would be in an office. And protection. That felt really it brought me a lot of peace. Let's put it that way, to hear protection. So the reason I'm sharing all of this with you today is because sometimes the Lord will allow us to go through something really intense and we don't pause and we don't ask him, help me understand your perspective on this. Help me understand where you were in this. And so if you're someone who has gone through something recently, or even something in the past that's still kind of haunting you and messing with your brain and your heart and your spirit, I just invite you to spend some time with the Lord as soon as possible and ask him to show you his perspective. Sometimes he won't. So know that this isn't like a, oh, let's demand this of the Lord. He doesn't owe us anything. But sometimes he will show us where he was so that we can have his perspective and so that we can heal from it and so that we can move forward in a deeper way in trusting him. So thank you for taking this time to listen to my story. And I really hope that you're encountering the peace of the Lord that surpasses all understanding in this crazy time in our world. Thank you. Take care. God bless.